All right, take one. Let's see. Nope, no take one. Let's try take two here. Nope, no take two either. Let's see. Take three. Looks like we got it here with take three. All right. So we are live. And good evening, everybody. We are live on Land Speculation here on YouTube. For the second night in a row, we are launching late, which I apologize about. Holly, it looks like, is first here in the chat, and Buquifius is right after that. So good to see you guys, and hope you're doing well. Sorry for being late tonight, particularly here in the sort of COVID emergent era. We just have a lot more things going on in the evenings, so at least we're on, which is the good news. Okay, Holly's going to come right back. But Boo's here. Anybody else who's here in the background, welcome, guys. Brian is here. Brian says you should be sorry. Appreciate you guys joining us here out of the gate here on Land Speculation on YouTube. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world tonight. I appreciate the likes and the subscribes out of the gate here on Land Speculation. Jeanette is here. Hi, Jeanette. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the subscribes. Those will help us kind of get started strong here tonight. Check the description, as always, for links to our Ducks Discord and our Duck Fund. John Curtis is also here. I didn't have anybody lined up as a guest tonight, but then we actually do have a guest tonight. Quiet is here as well. Pat Riley's here. Hey, guys. So we do have a guest tonight. This kind of got lined up at the last second, but I think it's very timely. And glad to get this person on at this juncture, because this may be our last chance for a little bit. Jozz, do you want to say who you are?
Yeah, hi. So I'm Jozz. I am 18 years old, and I'm about to go to basic training. I've been around this YouTube channel for about the last year. Started when the protest started up last year. Found this channel, and I've just kind of stuck around. One of the first founders of the Discord, and I've just been here since close to the beginning.
So, I don't. You're not like the youngest person who has ever showed up on our streams, but you're probably the youngest, like, consistent person who's been on our streams really from the very beginning. And so I want to kind of get into all junctures of your life here, because you're at sort of a very interesting crossroads. But this is Jozz, and Jozz, like Jozz said, Jozz was one of our very early, one of the folks that joined us very early on when we got started doing these streams last June. And as Jozz said, he was not only sort of an early participant in a lot of our streams back in DC when we were, doing the George Floyd protests and early ducks and all that kind of stuff. But Jozz also was sort of instrumental in helping us kind of build the early infrastructure of this channel, including, I think the first thing you reached out to me about, Jozz, was building a logo for our channel, and we kind of still use that periodically. And then you helped us develop the Discord back at the end of June a year ago. So Jozz has been like a super kind of committed part of our channel. I know sometimes you've gotten busy and sort of disappeared for a while, and you come back, and but certainly I think instrumental in sort of helping us build the community here. That's kind of more than just a random collection of parts. So we certainly appreciate everything that you have contributed to us. And now, Jozz, you, the individual, I guess, are getting ready to provide some really significant contributions to our country, which is obviously far more important. But do you want to just sort of give a little bit of background on your life and kind of, maybe sort of where you're from and all that kind of stuff, and, maybe sort of what has led you down the path of ultimately deciding to, pursue the military as the next sort of juncture in your career?
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to go too specific from where I'm from. The closer people know.
That's true. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, so it's Missouri, Illinois area. And I mean, I've seen a lot of the world, and I've always grown up knowing that I wanted to go in the military. It was just over the past 2 years deciding where to go. For a year there, I was stuck on going to college to become a pilot in the Air Force, since my dad was in the Air Force for 25 years. I was really set on the Air Force. But then over the last year, I figured out that you can be a drone pilot in the Army and you won't have to go to college first. And I can, from there, go into as a helicopter pilot and get my pilot's license that way without ever going to college.
So, okay, so I guess starting at the beginning here. So, you like lived all over the world for a little bit, I guess, because you have like a whole sort of family connections to the military. And I know we've talked about some of your sort of international adventures, kind of at earlier junctures of your life. Are you, at this point, like, how are you feeling? You're like, I think you said you're 4 days out from shipping off. What are your sort of sentiments and emotions about kind of the changes that are about to occur for you?
Well, it's just like leaving off everything I've known, family and everything, and not being sure what I'm going into exactly. It's just a really weird feeling, really anxiety producing feeling that I don't know if I've ever felt it before. I mean, I'm excited. I am extremely excited to go, but it's just a weird feeling of conflict of emotions.
So you graduated high school, what, a couple months ago?
Yes.
And I know you spent like a lot of the last year, working very, very hard, at least one job. And it seems like, I don't know. I mean, for us, it feels like it sort of snuck up on us, that, you're shipping out. Does it feel like it snuck up on you?
Not really. I mean, over the past month, I was like, oh, I have plenty of time, and then now it's like I have one more weekend with my family, and then I'm out of here. That's pretty much what it is now.
Yeah. How do they feel about it?
Um, Excited, but at the same time, how any parent would feel with their kid going off to the military and having a combat job.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a both tremendous pride for them. It's obviously anybody that sort of is willing to sort of put their future on the line for our country. Obviously, any family would be tremendously proud of that. But at the same time, I can certainly imagine the apprehension. So we got a couple of comments here in the chat. I'm not going to make you answer John Curtis's question, but he's asking, Jozz, what was your GPA? Hope you're not going to end up on the front lines in Afghanistan. That seems
I'm
unlikely.
not sure what my GPA was, to be honest. I hated high school. School is not for me. Out of everything, I wanted to get out of school. And boo, my ASVAB score was an 88, highest of all future recruits right now. Let's go.
Really?
Of all the people at my office, not all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Overall. Just all the people at the office I go to right now.
So tell me about what is the recruiting process like? So I mean, I know you've been in touch with the recruiter for a long time. What is the that build up been like?
At the beginning, I was just going in to talk to the Army, see what they had to offer me. And then, so after that, the Army's by far the best for recruiting. They have it down to the T. So when you actually sign up for a job, you reserve your spot for the job for whatever date you want to leave. For me, I had to wait a little bit for that job to open up. I had a friend who was waiting a while for their job to open up, and recently just signed infantry for some reason. They scored really high on their RSVP, could have had any job and chose infantry. But so yeah, you sign your job and you're guaranteed that job as long as you make it through basic training and all the earlier training before that. And then you just kind of wait around and you can do a couple things to get promotions before you go in while you're in the DEP program, delayed entry program. And so yeah, I did those. I took advantage of them to get E3 before I'm even in. So yeah, the Army really has some good ways to get you accustomed to how the Army runs before you go in.
And I know one of the things that you've been doing, because I remember this from our early streams, is when we first got started, we were having like I think we were just being silly, but we were having like sit-up competitions among the members of our stream. And I remember Jeanette, I think, had done some sit-ups for us and reported back. And I think at the time, I think I beat you. I think I beat you by like 4 sit-ups from what you reported. But I think you've since
Yes,
like
I believe that too.
way past me on like all of those measures of athleticism and strength and whatnot. So you've been like, it seems like you've been like working out and getting ready for this for a while.
Yeah, so I've kind of been keeping up with it. It's just like, for the past 2 months, I've been home 15 days. So I've just been on the go, and it's honestly hard to keep up with the workout schedule when you're doing all that.
Yeah, I can certainly imagine.
Is that Mrs. in the background?
Hi.
Mrs. Land, Jozz is our guest tonight, sort of impromptu here at the last minute. Jozz is shipping off to basic training in 4 days.
Oh, exciting. Or terrifying.
So, I know you haven't done basic training, Mrs. Land, I assume.
No, I have not.
Any advice for Jozz here as he ships out?
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be about the most any of us can say. Did we lose you? No, you're still here, I think.
No, I just pulled up something that I want to talk about in a little bit.
Okay. So I want to sort of finish off a few things on kind of your next adventure here. So you're gonna be in South Carolina, I think.
Yeah, South Carolina for 9 weeks, and then after that, I go to Arizona for 22.
So South Carolina in July. Thoughts on that?
South Carolina in July. That's about all I have to say about it. I think you guys can get the gist of that situation.
I think somebody, I can't remember what platform it was on, but they were saying, they had done it in like Missouri in the summer, and that was like really bad. And I know Missouri does get hot in the summer. I can imagine South Carolina is going to be pretty intense, but I suppose if you can make it through that, then you'll be well positioned.
Yeah, I've heard Fort Leonard Wood in the winter is probably the worst basic training because Missouri gets cold winter.
Is it better to do it in the hot than the cold?
I think I'll prefer the heat because honestly, I'm right now I'm overweight by 2 pounds, so I kind of want to lose that weight before I go in.
You can just sweat that out on the first day.
Pretty much.
David Miller is saying good luck and thank you for your service, Jozz.
Thank you, David.
John Curtis is saying basic training is torture.
Yeah, not so much anymore. If you read Boo's last comment, yeah, they took away the shark attacks, which is on the first day you get off the bus and the drill sergeants come yell in your face for about 8 hours. It doesn't happen anymore.
I've watched lots of videos. I don't know how somebody snuck videos of this, but I've watched a whole bunch. I've like binge watched YouTube videos of the experience of, getting off the bus and sort of going through day one of basic training. I don't know why I did that, but it's pretty like addicting watching actually. I'm glad that I don't have to go through that, but they seems like they get you into shape pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, that part is the worst part of being in the military. But after that, it's pretty relaxed. I mean, yeah, you're still you're in a pretty strict job compared to other jobs that are out there. But I mean, most people have fun with it.
Jeanette is offering to crochet you something during basic. Crochet you a blanket.
Do not mail it to me in basic. I do not want any mail in basic. But quiet, yes, they did. And you want to know something about the Air Force? Now on the PT test, they let you walk your 1.5 miles. So I don't know what's worse: the Army getting rid of the shark attack or getting to walk.
Give me context. Getting to walk. What did it used to be?
It's never been heard of before that you can just go walk your 1.5 miles. During your PT test, you've always had to run it. It's just unheard of, and now they're being really lenient, and you can just walk it.
I think I could walk 1.5 miles. Sounds doable. Anybody, Farm Girl, David, Greg Wright, others who are new in the chat here, welcome, guys. I guess I got a chance to welcome some of you guys out of the gate. Austin Collins referencing some new BLM and Antifa videos, hopefully on the Discord. Austin, we still got to connect about potentially setting up a channel for some of that stuff, but I appreciate you sharing all that stuff. Farm Arm High, John Kurtz, anybody else who I'm forgetting here, but welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us here on Land Speculation on YouTube. Happy to have you guys with us. Sorry we're late getting out of the gate tonight. It's our second day in a row getting started kind of late, but we're here, and we have a kind of impromptu guest here tonight, and that's Jozz, he's been one of our regulars for over a year. In fact, was one of our sort of early regulars on Land Speculation here on YouTube, and in some ways, along with Liquid, is kind of the grandfather of our Discord. And we sort of owe Jozz certainly a debt for helping us kind of get that set up. And I don't know, Jozz, are you going to have time to like be checking in with us before you get back from basic? Or are you I assume you're pretty much like full-time and exhausted the whole time?
Yeah, for the next 9 weeks, the most I'll have my phone is 30 minutes on a Sunday. So, not really for the next 9 weeks, but after that, in Arizona, I'll try to keep up as much as I can. I'll be pretty exhausted I have a test about every 2 days.
So
that training.
So you do 9 weeks of just core basic. So then what happens? I guess you graduate from that, and then you're going to Arizona?
Yeah, Arizona's just advanced training specific for your job. A lot of people, everybody goes to different places for this. For my job being a drone pilot, I go to Arizona and just learn how to do that job.
Okay, you kind of talked about this. So you picked drone pilot out of a lot of alternatives for like what you want to do. Give me some more on like why a drone pilot and what are you going to do with that?
So mainly drone pilot because in the beginning I wanted to try enlisting as a helicopter pilot, which is extremely hard to do, but it is possible. So I decided to make an easier route, go into an aviation job to learn the basics of everything, and then transfer over as a helicopter pilot. But with the expanding drone market right now, I can get out after 6 or 8 years and go work in a public job and make twice or triple the money easily. It just depends on how the next 4 or 5 years go to decide what I want to do.
How long are you committed in? And then, do you have it sounds like you sort of have a pretty flexible long-term plan at this point.
Yeah, so I signed for 6 years active and 2 years of reserve. So if I want to get out, I will have to serve 2 years in reserves, and all I'll really have to do is get called back up for 2 years if we go into war and they need me, which hasn't happened in 20 years or so.
Well, you never know. And I guess that's part of the the risk and uncertainty of it, and but I think certainly our country will be in good hands if you're running the drones. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to figure out who we're going to be using them on. But Bequeathia says, I hear there are a lot of hot chicks in the Air Force. Is that true?
If they're military, I'm going to go with a no. Just no. All across the board.
All right. That girl has joined us. Hi, that girl. So once again, guys, we have Jozz here on the stream. We're talking a little bit about Jozz's impending. I guess he's shipping out to basic training in a couple days. Obviously, we've got a lot of folks who have some military experience here in our chats, and obviously appreciate the service of every single one of them. I know Quiet has a tremendous background in the military, and I know we've got a few other folks as well. By the way, guys, if you haven't given us a like and a subscribe yet tonight on the stream, I really appreciate that. Really appreciate the likes and the subscribes. Help us out. Just a reminder, also check the description for links to our Ducks Discord, which is our 24/7 chat platform, and our Duck Fund, which is our PayPal link. So speaking of military experience, Wild Bill has stopped by for the first time in a long time. Jozz, you remember Wild Bill?
Yes, I do. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Um, so yeah, we got like a reunion of some folks here tonight. Um, I'd say a lot of our sort of original regulars are still around, but we've also got to know a lot of really cool people just in the last few months since the Derek Chauvin stuff. We've got a lot of new blood in the chats, which is great. Um, yeah, Bill says missed you. Um, yeah.
Yeah, he saw my name popped up, and he just couldn't resist.
Yeah, well, that goes for a lot of people. Um, so I guess I will read. So Quiet Castle offered some tips for basic training in the Discord, which I thought were very smart, and I assume you had a chance to read them too. He said, keep in good shape and be extra careful not to get sick. Prior to boot, as it makes things much tougher. I got sick while in boot, and it wasn't fun. Also, get as much extra sleep as you can the week prior to boot. Trust me, you'll need it. When you're in boot, pay very close attention to all the details and listen. It's not a time to joke around or screw up. You definitely don't want to be recycled and have to go through it again. One last thing. I went in it at the end of spring, and it got really hot into summer, so we had to continually drink a ton of water before each meal, before we were allowed to eat it. You'll burn through the water and calories, so make sure you drink as much as you can since you'll be going in midsummer. I mean, all of that seems like, some of that's straightforward, but I think some of that's very, sound advice, which I assume is very much a part of your thinking. So I'm sure you're getting advice from like every corner at this point. But, once you're in it, it's kind of on you.
Yeah, and what's weird is everyone's advice seems to be almost exactly the same. And it's just generic advice, but nobody really has the answers for what basic life is going to be like. Which I find really interesting that everyone just has the same exact thing to say about it. But nobody will give like a straight answer on what it's going to be like. I mean, honestly, I think it's just because it changes so much. Anybody who's been in or around the military knows every 2 or 3 years something major changes. And every other day something changes. So you just never know.
Well, Bill says key thing in boot is just play the game. Farm Girl says, I can't even imagine having one of my sons enlist. I'm sure you have a very proud family. Thank you for your courage, sacrifice, and bravery for our country. May God bless and protect you always. So that's a nice comment from Farm Girl. What is your biggest uncertainty going in?
That's hard to say. Honestly, I'm not sure if I have one.
Well, I guess when you say nobody talks about what life is actually like, what is it that you feel like you haven't quite yet gotten a handle on?
I mean, it's going to be my first time living on my own, just doing my own thing for a while. So I guess that's my biggest uncertainty, just not living at home anymore, having to do all that by myself at first. And it's not like college where you come back after 4 or 5 months. Once I'm out there, I'm out there. It's not like I'm just going to come back take leave for 2 months to come back and hang out.
Yeah, it's very different from college, I'd imagine. You're kind of coddled yet in college in ways that you won't be.
Yeah.
How does laundry work when you're in basic? Do you have to do your own, or just how does that work?
Yeah, I think just somebody gets chosen for it a couple times a week, or a couple people get chosen for it, and they just have to go do it. And everybody throws their clothes in a pile, and then you get them all out of the pile and put them back in your locker.
What time do you have to wake up every day?
Around 4:30 every morning.
Yeah, I can't do that. That sounds tough. Hope you're a morning person, says Bill. Yeah. I don't go to bed before 4:30.
I'm just an awake person. I'm not a fan of being asleep, even though I do it a lot. Just not a fan of it. Waste of time. Miss out on a lot of stuff.
I feel like that's the attitude that all of the Fortune 500 CEOs have when you read their books. It's like none of them ever sleep.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't so tired all the time, but I mean, I think I grew within the past month, so that might be the issue with me sleeping a lot now. So, I'm not sure.
Well, Brian says you end your stream at midnight and neglect us for 4 more hours. Not always. I mean, I like a lot of times I'll like get in bed and try to fall asleep for hours. I've got sleep issues, Brian. If anybody knows any tips for falling asleep, I need them. All right, so we got some other
Oh
comments
yeah,
here.
you get to have great conversations with Mrs. Land every night. It makes it hard to fall asleep.
Uh, yeah, we do have great conversations. Although she goes to sleep pretty early. She has to get up earlier than I do most mornings. So I don't know. We're sort of. I think she's not a morning person either, but she's kind of on the morning schedule. So we have to like intersect somewhere in the middle. Hunter produces to be a successful corporate CEO. It helps to be a sociopath. Well, that's probably true. That girl is asking what's inside a Pokeball. Do you know the answer to that, Jozz? Somehow you don't
That's
seem like
a
a.
rough one. Where did she say that at? I'm not seeing that.
It's it might still be popping up here. It's like 4 comments up from the bottom for me.
Oh, I see it now. Hmm. I don't know. Whatever you dream of, it's kind of like the oh my gosh, what's that? The closet to Narnia or whatever it's called, the wardrobe to Narnia, whatever. It's just kind of what you wish it to be.
Yeah, are you a Pokemon person? You don't. I've seen you play video games. You don't seem like a Pokemon person.
I used to be back when it was big on like the DS, and I was around 8 or 10, and I still have those video games and the thing called the Pokewalker, which I should have sold around the time when Pokemon Go came out because it was worth around $1,000 at that point because they're kind of rare. But I'm just holding on to it now and just waiting for something big like that to happen again.
So you weren't like a Pokemon Go person.
For a little bit there, maybe a month or two, but other than that, not really.
So rank your like what are your top 3 games?
That's gonna be Rocket League, Minecraft, and Apex Legends, only because I've placed in a North American tournament in Apex Legends back when it first came out. That's the only reason that it's up there. I haven't played it in a long time now.
I've never heard of it, so I don't know. I did post a video of like the best video games, but that was totally pulled out of nowhere because I don't really play much.
Bill, I leave in 4 days.
So what are your final 4 days amount to? Like you're spending some of them with us, which is very flattering. We certainly appreciate you giving us the time tonight. What's the countdown like?
Yep, so later tonight I have some really close family friends coming in from South Carolina. They've been out working on some hunting property we have with my dad all day. And then, so they're going to get here tomorrow. We're just kind of hanging out because it's going to be raining and storming all day here tomorrow. And got to get the house cleaned up Saturday. Doing a pretty big going away party. Got lots of family friends coming in for that. Sunday, people hanging out, just saying my goodbyes and stuff. Monday, I go to the hotel, spend the night there, wake up at 3:30 the next morning, go to the MEPS facility, which is Military Entrancing Processing Station, I think. And then I stay there for a couple hours, fill out paperwork, take an oath, and then I go to basic training.
Bill says don't get drunk the night before. That's probably good advice.
My last time doing that was about 2 weeks ago.
I assume on like non-alcoholic grape juice since you're 18.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It was mainly water.
Yeah, water's good. Yeah.
Yes, it is quiet. Yes, it is. Especially the part where you have to do the duck walk, and immediately after that, that's great memories there.
What is MEPS?
It's the Military Entrance Processing Station. It's where you go when you're trying to join the military. And actually, every day when they have new recruits coming in to take their first oath and sign their papers, they have to just qualify 25% of them because there's just so many people.
Man, it's gonna be intense.
Not really. You just don't tell them you have any physical problems with you and you're fine.
Well, okay, fair enough. Wow. Well, you're going to have an exciting next few weeks and months, and actually, I guess sounds like several years.
Good advice, Roadkill. Good advice.
What is Roadkill's advice? Just watch Full Metal Jacket and show up. Yeah. What's like your favorite military movie?
Right now it's got to be the Siege of Jadotville. It's about this Irish company dispatched by the UN to go down in Kenya, I think it is, during where they were having like a civil war period, and they're really outnumbered and they hold their ground for a long time and don't get any help. And honestly, it's just a really well-rounded, good movie. Like, you get to know the characters well. It's really intense the entire time. There's not like a slow point throughout the movie, which I really like. And it's all completely real. Like, and what's interesting about it is at the end it tells you these guys were called, or they were just rejected by society afterwards because they ended up surrendering when they ran out of ammunition. After blowing up boxes of spent rounds to kill people. They filled the boxes with the spent rounds and blew them up to kill more people. So they shot every bullet twice, technically.
This sounds like a very real kind of engagement that you might encounter. So September 1961, a small contingent of Irish troops serving as part of the United Nations operation in the Congo were besieged in the mining town of Jadotville by forces loyal to the secessionist state of Katanga. The siege took place during the 7-day escalation of the standoff between the ONUC and Katanganese forces during Operation Morthor. Yeah.
Farm Girl, can we get the story on that, how that happened, please?
So Farm Girl saying, I have a broken rib in her chest. Yikes. I feel like every day Farm Girl comes on and has like really interesting stories about what happened to her that day. Like more interesting things are going on in Farm Girl's life than in my life. Let's see. 100 Burrito saying All Quiet on the Western Front is the best movie, best war movie. Yeah. Oh, Farm Girl fell in her bathtub. Okay. Well, I hope you get better, Farm Girl. That sounds painful. Like broken ribs are especially painful because it's like anytime you try to breathe heavily or laugh, it'll hurt. So, Jozz, you were posting a couple things here in our chat. So there were a couple other things you wanted to talk about here before you ship off to basic. So I guess the floor is yours. What's on your mind?
Okay, so the first one I want to talk about here is if you could pull up the video that I'm sharing with you on your stream.
Let me see if I can do that. I'm not sure I can.
So what I have pulled up here is straight off the CDC website. It's a .gov website.
Let's see. So what you're looking at is vaccine adverse events.
Yes. So the event that I have selected is deaths straight from the COVID vaccine. No other causes, nothing else. Just straight deaths from the vaccine, which I find this really interesting. It is not covered by any news outlet anywhere. But yeah, this is straight off the CDC website. There's 5,700 people who have died straight from the vaccine.
5,700 people out of, so I mean, it's a lot. I mean, there's
a like 0.000346% chance that you're going to die from it, but still 5,700 is a large number.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's always hard to sort of make sense of numbers when we have a country of 400 million people, and now slightly over half of them have had at least one dose of the vaccine, and slightly under half have had both doses. So it's not like this is not like some mass occurrence where some huge percentage of people are getting this, but on the other hand, not a mass percentage of people die from COVID. But so 5,700 people is not insignificant. I mean, that's a small stadium's worth of people. That's a whole town kind of wiped off the map. What have you been able to sort of dig into about those numbers or those stats?
Not a whole lot. They're not putting anything out about it that I can find. All I can do is keep going to this request form here. So what I did here is group results by vaccine type, just so I can select. I just select one vaccine, just the COVID-19 vaccine. And then I just select where is it? Events, just death, just death. That's the only one that I select. But what I found that was interesting was, give me 1 second to send a new report with all the vaccines on it. What you see here is the COVID-19 vaccine is way over what you see with any other ones that have been out there for years.
So compared to other vaccines?
Yes, it's way over what any other vaccine is seeing.
So it looks like, was it hepatitis B is the second most dangerous vaccine, and that has like 1,400 adverse events reported, whereas the COVID-19 vaccine has 5,700 adverse events reported.
Yep, it's been out for about 8 months, and it's already half of the deaths that the CDC has on file from vaccines over all time since they've been reporting, which I believe is about 1960 when the first stuff I can find on here. So,
I mean, I could see this being a couple of things. I could see this, on the one hand, the vaccine was developed very quickly, and you've got a few different versions of it, some of which seem to be more reliable than others, and I think that's what a lot of people. People who are sort of hesitant to get the vaccine are obviously a little bit worried that, the speed with which it was developed and the lack of time to sort of fully vet some of the potential adverse sort of issues with it, could make it perhaps sort of less foolproof than other vaccines. That's one thing that could be going on. Another thing that could be going on, I suppose, is that, this has become a very, very hot button political issue. This is obviously, much more in the public consciousness as compared to kind of other things, other vaccines. And, we've kind of gone through this before, like when, a few years ago when everybody was reporting that their Toyota Priuses were kind of like, the gas pedal was somehow like automatically hitting itself and, crashing their car. And it turned out that there was just sort of a big mass hysteria around the issue, and people were reporting this even when it wasn't happening in massive numbers, either because they were mistaken or because they had sort of something else had happened, and they kind of blamed it on this issue that was out there. Do you have a hypothesis of like what you think is going on here? Like, are you sort of bringing this up because you're worried that the vaccine might not be as safe as people are, perhaps being led to believe?
Well, the main reason I'm bringing this up is because how many news stations have you heard saying, "Oh, we've had 5,700 people die from the vaccine"? Nobody is going on here and checking the actual data. I haven't talked to anyone who has heard of this before, but I just think it needs to be out there that, hey, this vaccine is killing this more people than any other vaccine in history, and I'm sure more people have gotten the flu shot than the COVID shot, and even if you combine all of these, you still have less than the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point that, to the extent you hear much in the media at all about the COVID vaccine, it's sort of reports on how many people have gotten it, and, sometimes it's advocacy for people to get it. But I agree that I certainly haven't heard many reports on the number of adverse reactions. Now, David Miller, by contrast, is saying, are there any statistics on how many people alive have been saved by the vaccine? That probably is a pretty significant number, but I think that's sort of a given that you're going to take a vaccine, it's going to save lives. But I suppose that's, the sort of counterpoint here.
Yeah, I'm going to try to pull up something else really quick. Just just straight adverse reactions to the COVID-19 vaccine. And on top of that, one other thing that I find interesting is the fact that it's not technically a vaccine by vaccine definition. Oh, yeah, 426,000 adverse effects. Just for reference, let me just go to all vaccines. See if it's way over every other one. So 426,000. Yeah, still going to be more than every other vaccine we have out there.
In terms of what number?
In terms of just adverse effects to the COVID-19 vaccine. But what I find interesting is it is the only one on this list that is different from the rest. It's just straight mRNA. It's not an actual vaccine where you're getting the virus.
Yeah, I mean,
your body fights it off. It's the only one that's different on this entire list.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really interesting new technology. It's this whole mRNA. This has been something I think scientists have wanted to develop as a vaccine typology for a lot of things for a very long time. I'm not like super deep in the science, but this is the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are this mRNA technology. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is not. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is more of like a traditional vaccine where they inject like the dead virus into you. But this mRNA technology is, it's interesting. It has a lot of potential. If they conclude it works for this, there's probably a lot of things that could be very impactful in a sort of positive medical way for. But you're right. It's sort of the first one we've really tried to experiment with that technology on a mass part of the population.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was getting at. It's just the first, and I mean, it seems like everybody's just okay with it. Nobody's really paying attention to the fact that it's, from everything that I'm able to find on here, it's much more dangerous than any other vaccine that we have put into place.
So, like, how do you personally weigh, what you're seeing there against, there's obviously potential benefit that could come to it, especially people in, vulnerable populations, COVID, whatever, however low those rates are. I think, I know a couple people that have died from it. Like, how do you yourself sort of personally weigh the risk in your mind about either taking the vaccine and, if you're at a part of a vulnerable population, potentially being helped by the vaccine, versus also considering some of these risks at the same time?
Since that's borderline a political discussion right now, and with me going in the Army, I'm gonna avoid putting out a comment on me personally taking the vaccine.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, I just don't want to say anything that I shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly fair. David's saying hard to determine the long-term effects from something that's only existed a short time. I mean, that's, I think a given. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to kind of belabor the point, but I think there's obviously a lot of things for people to consider. There's obviously a lot of sort of public health information out there via the CDC and, other sources that, have sort of advocated for it and things like that. But, certainly this is like, I think what you're doing, which is like, dig up the stats yourself, make the evaluation for yourself and, do whatever you think is best for yourself, is probably, good calculus. Bill says, good or bad, I got the vaccine, and that is a major contributor to not being on a lot, because it has allowed him to sort of go out and party, I assume. I don't know, Bill, are you like going out and partying all the time, Bill? I assume that's what's going on, why we haven't seen you as much. Great peace of mind and freedom are the biggest benefits to taking it. Chris H says, life is short, don't take it so seriously. Let's see. Did we lose you, Jozz? Are you still there? You're still there.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm just trying to catch up on some of these comments.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments here.
Interesting conversation.
By the way, guys, I haven't done a plug in a few minutes here, but I appreciate you guys all joining us here on Land Speculation on YouTube. I know there are a few folks who have joined since we kind of last did the rounds here. Chris H. and others. Really appreciate you guys stopping by tonight. So we've had some interesting conversations this week. I mean, we had major protests in Cuba over the weekend, which we talked about in the early part of the week. Last night we did a really deep dive into South Africa because I've got a lot of South Africa footage, and there have been really big protests there. We've been kind of doing, mostly on Thursday nights, we've been doing some guest streams lately. So we've had a lot of really interesting people stop by and kind of share their specific interests and views on the world. So we had Brian last week, and I know we had Jack the week before, and we've had Parker Russell, a couple other people. So it's been really interesting getting to sort of, talk directly to some of our audience, and we'd love to have, more people do that. We're very fortunate that Jozz was able to make time in his schedule here before he ships out to basic training here in a couple days to kind of touch base with us. I know this is Jozz, not your first time on the stream, but certainly happy to have you on. And anyway, guys, if you haven't given us a like and a subscribe on the stream, I really appreciate that. The likes help us out with YouTube. The subscribes help you guys know when we're on. And then if you check the description, as you know, there are links there to our Duck Discord, which is our 24/7 chat platform, and our Duck Fund, which is our PayPal link. I really appreciate the contributions from the folks who have donated over the last couple weeks. Really appreciate that. Obviously, that kind of gives us the incentive to keep doing this. And I don't know, Jozz, when we started doing this last June, did you think we would still be doing it a year from now?
Honestly, I did not. I thought it would be maybe a month at most, or you wouldn't even take the proposal of starting a Discord seriously and just building this to what. I mean, I saw the potential with just how people were acting in the chat that this could grow to something awesome, and like it has. And I wasn't sure just which direction it would take.
Yeah, I mean, somehow we're still doing it, which is, I know it's a lot of time, and we've grown. I think we've grown like sort of steadily, and then sometimes we get these spikes with these major events, and we've kind of stayed, I think, at a manageable scale by and large that we can have, productive, kind of friendly conversations with a pretty wide smattering of opinions here, which I think we've gotten a pretty good group of folks together. So, from that standpoint, it's sort of stimulating to me every night, just sort of to kind of get different views and whatnot. But I'm also kind of surprised we've kept doing it as long as we have, and hopefully we'll continue to keep growing it. David Miller says, really good research in Intel, Jozz. It's a wonder the media hasn't caught on and blown it up. You would think anything like that, the media would, just for sensationalism's sake, that they would be taking something like that and blowing it up on the COVID stats.
I can't believe I haven't seen it anywhere, at all, anywhere.
Even on like conservative media? Even on like conservative media?
No, nothing.
Interesting.
It's honestly kind of hard to find this data reporting site, and not sure how I came across it in the first place.
Yeah, I was just.
If you guys want the link to it, I can put it in the Discord for you guys, so you guys can go explore it for yourselves and just see. Just try to find stuff on your own that you want to know about.
Yeah, that would be great. I was trying to Google it myself to see if we could find a way to pull it up on the stream, but it's actually hard to. It's like doesn't show up immediately on Google. So if you can post a link in the Discord, that would be great. If people want to check out those stats themselves on adverse reactions to the COVID-19 vaccines. Obviously, it's a huge topic. It's always a sort of politically sensitive topic, and it's one that YouTube is a little sensitive about on our streams. So we won't belabor it too much, but definitely interesting stuff, and stuff that I think people should definitely check out. That girl is asking, is Jozz a fan of Jozz?
To be honest, I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you need to watch that. That's a pretty darn iconic movie.
I don't know. I'm really selective on the movies I would watch, honestly.
So why is your name Jozz?
Long story. Really long story that I don't like diving into, but yeah.
Okay.
Just worked with a group I was teamed with when I was playing Apex Legends, and yeah, so I just stuck with it. And four-letter names for gaming is a big thing, so I found one that hadn't been used before and started using it.
Well, it seems to work. Bill says, Jozz, best of luck in your boot camp and military time. Personally, it's one of the best things I ever did. For the most part, I had a blast in the military. Because Bill was in the Navy, I believe.
Oh, yeah, of course you had a blast.
Which is more fun, the Army or the Navy?
I get seasick, so I'm going to go with Army.
Oh. Yeah, I just feel like if anything happened and you're like in a boat, your chance of dying is higher. Whereas if you're on land, at least you're like, on the ground. Oh, let's see. So many significant things happened over the past year, says David Miller. Yeah, since we started doing this, a lot of significant things have happened, and we've had a chance to cover most of them. I wish we'd had a chance to cover more of them, sort of front and center in DC. But family stuff comes first. Ronald McFondle, hi Ronald, says if you're too big, we'll get canceled. Well, I mean, I know we're not a big channel. I have gotten a copyright strike previously on this channel before I started doing these nightly streams. And I think that was back when YouTube had slightly different policies. I've never heard a peep from YouTube about the content on these streams. I've gotten hit sort of randomly on other videos for reasons that didn't make any sense. But they've never said anything. And I think part of that is that we're small. But I think part of it too is we do try to keep things kind of in the at least sort of a relatively balanced middle, even while giving people's opinions a chance to kind of have some airtime. Let's see. So David was asking, I think, about the adverse reactions. So there were different numbers of deaths versus reactions themselves. So that like the 5,000 was like deaths, and then there were several 100,000 actual adverse reactions, I think, in your numbers, Jozz.
Yes, it was about 426,000 adverse reactions and 5,734 deaths recorded by the CDC so far.
There you go. John Curtis says, Jozz, thank you for making the decision to serve your country. You sound like a strong young man. Make us proud.
Yeah, thanks everyone who has said that. I really appreciate it. I'll do my best to do my best.
No, that's, was it 110%?
I like 112, just 2 more than extra.
Oh, that's extra credit. Flexstream is pointing out that Jozz, the movie, came out in 1976, and you're 18, so that math is a little off. How old did you guess I was, Jozz?
Well, do you remember my nickname for you?
Yeah, you were calling me Grandpa for a while.
Yes.
And you were saying that, so I'm a generation older than Jeanette, I think is what we decided.
Yeah, I assume she was more around my mom's age.
Okay, so that would put me in like my 80s?
60.
60s, okay. Okay, well, I guess no comment on the accuracy of that. I'm not sure that all adds up, but
honestly, I'm thinking like 37.
37. Okay, you're like, within a century. Either way.
Okay. At least I'm not at least I'm within an eon. That's all I cared about.
Jeanette is very excited. She's young again, apparently, here in the chat. That girl is guessing early 20s for land.
Holly, I said she's around my mom's age. If I'm 18 and Jeanette's in her 20s, something that isn't working out there.
Yeah, there's some generational issues there. So Jozz, I want to give you the so I know you had a couple issues. Were there other issues that you wanted to bring up on tonight's stream?
I've kind of fallen away from politics and all of that recently, just because I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
So
is life better or worse not following politics as much?
I just like it not being able to talk about politics.
But do you still like read about them and follow them? You just like can't talk.
Every free chance I have, just because I mean, I've been so busy recently, but I'm still hoping to run for office after I get out of the military or whatever career I end up with over the next 10 years. Um, I'm not sure what office yet. Just love politics so much. I just want to be enveloped in them.
Jozz, I think I mentioned this to you. I actually did write. I've had a number of correspondences over the years with Jeb Bush, who is like a very, very, very kind of distant acquaintance.
Yes.
And he never wrote me
Last
back
year,
with advice for you on politics. He doesn't usually reply to
oh,
political
you,
queries. He replies to
you told me
non-political
that he
things.
did.
No, it was a different guy that replied to a guy in politics in D.C. that gave some advice. But Jeb himself, I don't think ever did write me. I believe I have to check. But we'll see, one step at a time. Why can't Jozz talk about politics? Is it like a military prohibition on it?
Pretty much. The military is not supposed to have a stance on politics, and being in the military, you represent all of the military. So, you can't have a stance on politics.
So, like, if you had a commander in chief that was you maybe didn't personally like politically, and maybe even was trying to push the country into military missions that you didn't personally agree with, like, would that you know impact your willingness to sort of be committed to your job in the military?
I don't believe so, because at the end of the day, it's my job.
Yeah,
I'd rather do it instead of anybody else. So yeah, no thanks.
I like that. That's a good attitude. I mean, that's kind of there are a lot of things I do in my career too that are like, you know, probably not the greatest things that I would like choose to do myself. But on the other hand, it's like if I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it worse.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that I see myself over there fighting than any of my family members or friends or even people that I hate. I don't want them to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Age is just a number. How old would you be if you did not know? That's an interesting question. How old would you think you were if you didn't actually know your age? I think I would.
Ooh,
I think I
that's a
would
rough one.
think I was older than I was.
I don't know. I have a baby face. I think I was younger.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think enough like short nights will take care of that probably.
Yeah, and I got tall really late, so yeah, I think I was a lot younger.
How was your hunting expedition? I know you were like away for a while doing hunting. It
Yeah.
sounded like you were like detoxing in the middle of the woods or something.
So that was actually two parts. We hunted in Texas, and then we went to Oklahoma to help a family friend on their farm, and both of them were a blast. It was extremely hot the entire time, and had like no clouds, which was really fun. Um, Me and my best friend, we ended up shooting an axis deer about 10 minutes apart on the same day. Um, and then we went to Oklahoma after that and helped family friends on their farm. Got to run a disc for about 8 hours, which was loads of fun. And at the end of that day, I had the only vehicle with AC. So I was living life.
What is your favorite animal to shoot?
Well, to shoot has to do with eating too.
Well, or to
So
I mean,
the
well, to
best
hunt, I guess. I
tasting
mean,
animal.
I guess I'm not drawing
To
a distinction
hunt.
between hunting.
My favorite animal to hunt would probably be an eastern turkey, because you get to chase them. Second favorite would probably be an elk, because you get to chase them up a mountain. The mountains suck, though, when you're running up them. Um, when you have no oxygen, because it's at such a high altitude. I'm sure everybody out west understands what I'm saying.
Uh, Elk taste good?
same as a white-tailed deer, just tougher, because their muscles are just a lot stronger from running up those mountains.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the best tasting animal you have shot and like had to eat yourself?
The axis deer I shot in Texas. We cut steaks off his back quarter, and they tasted just as good as a backstrap or tenderloin, which, if you don't know, are the best cuts off an animal like that.
Do you always eat what you shoot?
Yes, I will never leave an animal just for dead, unless it's like a rodent or something that I'm just shooting to get rid of.
Do you shoot rodents?
Raccoons, squirrels,
Oh, okay.
hog. I want to go hog hunting. That sounds like a blast.
I'm picturing like a mouse running in the hall somewhere, and just like
Me sliding around the corner with the rifle,
yeah,
chasing it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's a thanks. That I'm very not humbled by that opinion you have of me.
No, it surprised me because you're like the last person I would think of that would be like that. I mean, it's always like I was just think it would be like fun to every time I've encountered a mouse in my life, but probably would like end up destroying the house.
Yeah, roadkill. That's on my bucket list. I'm definitely going to shoot hogs out of helicopters one day. Hopefully, a helicopter that I own and can fly. If I could fly and shoot one at the same time, I think that just puts me at like a higher level of person. But we'll see when the time comes to that.
What about drone hunting?
That's starting to become illegal.
Yeah, I would think so.
But honestly, it's hard to keep track of people who do it because drones are tiny and they don't put out much of a radar signature. So.
Interesting. So, do you have much time off when you're in the military, or like when's your next big break?
Honestly, I'm not sure when I will have a break next. I could have one after basic because I have 13 days between that graduation and when I go to Arizona and start in Arizona. I could have 2 weeks at Christmas, or I could go immediately into my job next March and take leave sometime. But about your first question about how much time off you have, you get 30 days of leave a year, which carry over if you don't use them. So what my dad ended up doing before he retired was he saved up like 5 months worth and didn't work for 5 months, but got paid leave for 5 months. And so you get the 30 days leave, and then usually you get weekends off. Usually, it just depends on what's going on. Sometimes you have to burn something down. It just depends.
Parker is mentioning drones. You should talk to Parker, Jozz. Parker's like a drone expert too. Let's see.
Well, he knows the terms. I can tell that.
Yeah. Real life says 2 cops went to jail for clubbing a porcupine. I'm a trapper and it's legal.
It's legal? Where can I try this at?
Clubbing a porcupine? I feel like you're still going to get like stabbed at some point. David Miller's asking, have you ever had bear?
We had some friends who went and killed some bears. I think we tried some of it. It's okay. It's not my favorite. It's like as tough as elk. Yeah, it's not my favorite.
That girl is saying, I feel like 90% of the people on your stream are hunters. We've got a lot of, I feel like, so there are a few issues, like, I've been doing this a year. I've got a pretty good feel for, what issues kind of really get people, kind of excited with different opinions. One of those is legalization of drugs is like a really popular issue on our stream.
Why'd you bring that up?
I'm not bringing that one up. What I'm bringing up is anything that involves hunting or weapons has always gotten like a lot of traction on our streams, and The problem is, like, I don't know anything about different weaponry. So if I did, we could probably do a whole channel just based on like gun specs. So I think you're right about that. That girl.
I mean, we've been in calls when I've gone over my guns and stuff like that, so you know my stances on weapons, and we're Americans. Guns are part of our religion.
Yeah, I mean, like certainly if you, I mean, it's interesting that we have like such different like people live such different existences in this country. I mean, we have this a very much a kind of rugged, individualized legacy of people who sort of have that like self-reliance kind of built into them. And I think you feel that like palpably in this country, especially in contrast to other countries. And then like as we've kind of evolved as a country, like now you have these enclaves, especially on the coasts, where like the prospect of like living around guns or having a gun is like unheard of and unimaginable to people, so much that they, I think like even if there wasn't gun violence out there to be sort of a driver of these issues politically, like there's just like culturally just it's so foreign to people who live in the big cities and the coasts that they don't kind of have any ability to sort of understand that like there are other chunks of this country where it's like not only is it commonplace, but it's like just part of being alive is being a hunter and having weapons.
Hey, quiet. It's really weird because the same thing happened to me. I was just out in the ocean and all my guns just jumped off. I don't know what happened.
Oh no. That's a heavy question, Parker. How do we differentiate between grief and depression? It's probably a definitional answer there. 100 Perdido says, I got to ride in the back of a cargo plane while we airdropped a cow and killed it. We didn't get a second chance. Humane Society got a cease and desist order. I'm curious to hear that story. David says, you're a brave man, Jozz. Jozz and Quiet were in the same boat. Brian's passionate about guns. Jozz, do you think we need to get out and see the ducks more? I feel like we haven't been out to see the ducks in a while.
Yes, I haven't seen them forever. And I think they really boost the channel, especially the people who have been around here for a while. And from what tons of new people have said, it's just a good break from reality. Just ducks. Just feeding ducks and talking to somebody who's live streaming while out there feeding ducks.
Yeah, Quiet Castle just got some actual ducks, so he's got the experience of raising them. The ducks, so it's really easy when we're in DC to go down and see the ducks. You guys know that. Like I'm about a pretty quick walk from the Capitol reflecting pool and the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, which are where the ducks hang out there. Of course, when we were back for the 4th of July, like they do some kind of technological thing to scare the ducks away when they're going to shoot off the fireworks. I guess I think the ducks won't like the fireworks. So there weren't any ducks there. It'll take them a little while to come back. But when we're out here in the Midwest, it's almost a 2-hour walk for me to get out to see the ducks. It's quicker if we drive, but we got stuff going on often in the evenings. It makes it a little difficult. Plus, we've started streaming later when it's usually dark, so it's just a little tougher to find time with the ducks. But and I guess we have some people now who kind of don't even remember when we were like exclusively a duck stream. Pretty much until it got cold last winter, we kind of were doing ducks every single day since we started. So I miss them. We'll have to get out there and see some more.
I'm not sure who all here has been here long enough to remember the day when we tried to get Land to steal a police horse. That was a fun day.
Yeah, that was. I guess horses are pretty good for the police to be able to do crowd control, and I don't know. There were a whole bunch of little police horse vehicles there in D.C., and there's just a horse just standing there unattended. And I don't know. It would have been easy to do on the spot, but I don't think it would have turned out particularly well for us.
I mean, you just put it on a pin. Are they really going to be able to tell that it's their horse?
I would think so. I mean, I probably wouldn't take off like the big police saddle from it.
Well, that's the first step. You have to.
I have
Or
never.
else it's just you.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody else like just walking around downtown DC with a horse though.
Okay, buy a police uniform, like for Halloween. Save it till the next year.
Okay, that's a bad.
Jump on a police horse.
That's what, like, we were talking about John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer. That's what he did to try to, get people to pull over for him. Was, get a fake police costume and get a car with a light and like would pull them over.
Yep. It's only a felony, but I think you'll be fine.
I've tried to not commit felonies since we've been doing this. It's one thing to commit a felony, like doing it on a YouTube live stream seems like even more. Somehow it makes it even worse. Stacking up the felonies, says Bill. Yeah. I'd like to be able to keep doing this, so probably not committing too many felonies would be ideal. Most people walk at 2 or 3 miles an hour, says Boo, on a bike. I'm not a big biker. I've had a bad experience on bikes in cities before. That girl has a question for Jozz. How long do you think you will survive in the Amazon rainforest? So if you were just dropped in the middle of the Amazon rainforest with 2 gallons of water and 5 big bags of chips, how long would you survive?
I think I could get a couple weeks out of it, honestly. So I think my first step there would be to slowly drink my water, build up some kind of structure to survive in, which the Amazon rainforest is great for that, with the big leaves that many trees have there. Lots of exotic plants that offer a great variety of leaves and bark that you can use for great insulation and just to stay out of the rain. I think the next thing I would do once that water ran out, start collecting the rainwater before it gets contaminated. So get one of those big leaves, use it like a bowl, filter it through some smaller leaves and stuff so it comes out without spiders and stuff in it. Put it in my water bottles to keep going. I'd have to find some food. I'm sure I could find some fruits or berries. I think the part where I would die would be choosing the wrong fruit or berry and eating it. So that's probably it.
Are you more worried about that or getting mowed down by some predator?
I think I have a fair chance against a predator. I consider myself somewhat of a predator. Wait.
Well,
we're just gonna forget that.
Well, all right. Well, if some giant snake like came up to you and started trying to squeeze you to death, I think you'd be like in tough straits there.
Yeah, I think I'm done at that point. Or just whack it on the head and move on with life.
Well, that too. I guess you don't have any weapons. You have to make your own weapons. That's part of the problem here.
I'm good with weapons, so I think I can figure it out.
Boos is.
I said we're leaving that in the past.
Well, he's got a good point though that nobody who actually is would actually say that. So I think you're in the clear.
Yeah, but then again, nobody would ever say that.
Bill thinks it's the humans that'll be the bigger threat in that situation. Parker says fighting in the wild can be very taxing for both parties involved. Even if you win a fight, but then you're too weak for the next one, and you lose just later. Yeah, I feel like every story I read about people getting lost, like in the woods or in the rainforest, eventually they do succumb to something if they can't find their way out. I guess I don't know what success constitutes here. Do you have to like live permanently in the rainforest, or is it just like you have to survive 10 days? You might be able to do it.
Yeah, is this like a Bear Grylls type situation? 10 days in the rainforest and I'm out.
Or it could be like an Amazing Race kind of thing.
Get from one into the other.
Yeah, you got to like make it through the rainforest.
I think that would be pretty difficult, honestly.
Yeah, rainforest is pretty big. You'd have to go a long way. And I doubt it's very easy to travel through most of it. Pat Riley says police dogs have a thankless job. That's probably true. The rainforest has already been cut down. Not all of it. Everybody got a water buffalo, says Art Johnson. The goal is to get out, survive, don't play commando. Oh, I don't know. So Roadkill's talking about worst job. Jozz, of all the jobs you've had, what's your worst job?
Honestly, probably when I was programming websites, just sitting in front of a computer and trying to do that for 8 hours, impossible for me.
Would that apply to all desk jobs, or just that one?
Probably all desk jobs for me. Desk job is just not in my ability. I need to be outside sometimes.
So what's your ideal job?
Pilot, for sure.
Military pilot, or like you're going to be flying United Airlines?
Anything. I don't really care. I just want to fly something.
I was reading about the salaries that those United Airlines pilots get. It's a pretty good gig, I gotta think. I mean, you got a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, but it's a pretty good gig. Plus, you're not like getting shot down by enemy planes. I guess we don't have a whole lot of like World War I style adversarial planes in the air shooting at each other. Now it's like strategic missions, I guess, more. Kai says nobody dreams of a desk job.
Yeah,
most people have one. Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, and most aerial battles are between 1 or 2 jets now, and with the F-22 and being way superior to any other military jet out there, owned by other countries, and then we're still developing the F-35. It's got its mistakes, but we're figuring it out. Once that's fully operational, it would just be insanely above every other military jet, and I don't know, sounds like a fun advantage.
Would you say the F-22 is your favorite military vehicle, or do you have like a favorite historical plane or anything?
I'd probably say it'd be the B-2 bomber.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I've been on a couple of them. Those things are awesome. I went in the simulator and got to try that one, the one that the actual pilots fly to train on. That was really fun. I used to live where they would fly over my house all the time because we were right by the base where they're stationed. And yeah, so that was amazing. Art, you have a very good point right there. The Warthog. That's got to be my second favorite plane.
Let's see. Look up the B-2 here.
Yeah, and the Warthog is literally a plane built around a gun. That's how they came up with it.
Yeah, those are like. I feel like if you got a plane, it's got to be like a cool looking plane. And yeah, the Warthogs. Is that the one with the teeth?
Sometimes they paint teeth on them.
Yeah, that's a cool look. I feel like you got to be at a cool looking plane.
A couple years ago, when we were on our way home from Greece, we got stuck in Pittsburgh, I believe it was, or Philadelphia airport because a big storm, and we went to the USO. I had stayed overnight there, and I was talking to an A-10 pilot there, and he said it's awesome, except for the part when you actually fire the gun, the plane stalls because the gun is so powerful.
How do you rectify that then? I assume you don't just die.
No, you just don't fire for very long, or you will hit the ground.
Well, that sounds like a problem. Above wing
It's
engines.
a good problem to have when you can put 16-inch holes in a vehicle.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's true. So we got other people sort of listing some other planes here. So Boo is saying the A-10. Yeah, the Warthog. Yeah, no, I mean, the B-2's got to be the coolest looking plane, though. I mean, that's just so sleek.
Yeah, and it's hard to show their size in those pictures. Just the sheer mass of those things is insane.
Does that make it harder to control, or like how does that affect actually flying? I mean, I assume you
No,
need...
actually, I think that's easier. They're just slower.
But are they still undetectable? Like, do we still use them?
Well, they put out a radar cross section of the size of a bumblebee, so.
Yeah, no, it's not a lot. They look so slow taking off, says David. Yeah, or David's saying the B-52. B-52s, that's a massive plane. That's like...
Oh, yeah. What I loved about the Super Bowl was when they flew the B-1, the B-52, and the B-2 over. That was awesome.
They need to do more flyovers. I feel like I've been to a lot of... I feel like they used to do more flyovers at football games.
Go to a Chiefs game, they fly a B-2 over most of the time.
Okay, that's good. I was at a baseball game not long ago, and they were bragging about how they were going to do this big flyover. Mrs. Land and I were both there, and we're getting really psyched for it because I always like that. I like I'm a sucker for like just kind of patriotic pageantry, at sports games or 4th of July or whatnot. And I was getting really excited for this, and the flyover was like a police helicopter, and it was like one of those little ones that looks like a bubble. And it was really slow, and it was like just barely over the top of the stadium, and it was super lame. I missed having the the Blue Angels or the B-2s in formation. I feel like we don't see enough of that anymore.
Oh, yeah, well, they need to do it more often. I'm not sure why they don't, because the pilots literally make their own schedules. I know the helicopter pilots for the Army just say, oh, hey, this week we're going to fly from Florida to Illinois and get our flight hours there, and we're just going to zigzag back and forth until we get our hours, and then we're done for the rest of the week.
If you were going to hire like a B-2 to fly over your house, is that something you can do? How much does that cost?
I'm not sure if that's something you can do. I think you just have to have the right connections.
So when you're a politician, you can arrange that for us.
I could probably arrange it now.
Okay, so if we're like sitting out with the ducks one day and it's like a special event and we want to do a flyover while we're out streaming over the National Mall.
Yeah, it would take some time, but I think it could be possible.
Interesting question. What do you think happened to that missing plane, the MH370?
MH370. Let me look it up. I actually haven't heard about it.
That was the you remember the famous missing plane from a Malaysian Airways plane like 5 or 6 years ago, that just like randomly disappeared, and then they couldn't find any trace of it for months and months and months and months, and they think it was a pilot's suicide. I think over the Indian Ocean. But yeah, that was like before CNN went all political. They were like obsessed with that for a really long time. It was a creepy story. People thought it had been like it was aliens or something. Hunter Perdito thinks military flyovers are a waste of money, just meant to inspire naive kids to join the military, like in John Wayne movies.
Yeah, but I don't see the point of not inspiring people to join the military, or, and the other fact, doing something awesome over a stadium, because if you get a cool flyover with a couple jets and a bomber or something like that, it is amazing, and you probably won't forget it for a long time.
Yeah, there's something to be said for stuff that's just cool.
Can I put that in a book or on a shirt?
Yeah, I think so.
There's something to be said for stuff that's just cool.
Yeah, we don't do enough stuff that's just cool anymore. The plane was proven to be blown up. It was caught exploding on a satellite camera, says Brian. Really? Brian, I had not seen that. Is that true? Pat's pointing out that 5 or 6 years ago, Jozz was in like the 6th grade. That's true. Yeah, Jozz, like what's the biggest life lesson you have learned like so far through your schooling and work experiences and all that kind of stuff? Like what can all of us old people learn from you?
It's never worth it to get in a fight with anybody. Verbal, physical, nothing like that. Never worth it. Think about it for a day. You'll decide different. I've seen too many people just get in verbal altercations and never talk again. And I've gotten close to to doing that with people, but I always usually apologize, because if I do that, I'm in the wrong and I realize it. Yeah, just to try to avoid any kind of verbal altercations with anybody, and just enjoy life, have fun.
Jozz, you know our whole channel is sort of built on verbal altercations.
Yeah, I realize that now. So just avoid this channel and you'll have fun.
That's perfect advice. It's really, really good. You're going to help us
You're
grow
welcome.
a ton.
Thank you. Yeah, there. Look, your views are going up.
Yeah. Pat Riley is joking. Jozz, you remember when Britney Spears first broke as a teenage pop star? Wait, you weren't born yet. That's actually, yeah, this kind of it's kind of depressing. Because that was a long time ago.
I barely know who Britney Spears is, so.
Who's the teenage heartthrob now? Like, who are the kids talking about in terms of like celebrities and crushes and all that stuff?
I don't know. I don't talk to kids my age.
Oh, that's okay. So who do you talk to?
Adults. They're more mature. It's better.
Like your parents?
My parents, their friends, my family friends that are adults. They're more mature, typically. 90% of the time.
That was basically the story of my childhood too. I had
And you learn a lot from them that you wouldn't relatively learn if you were out partying.
Yeah, you do. I don't know. Like you probably miss some like stupid lessons that ordinary kids learn on their own. But maybe you skip those lessons. That was asking my favorite pop star. See, I don't even know like who qualifies as a pop star anymore. Who was my favorite pop star? I don't know if I ever had like a favorite. I would say like Katy Perry back in her prime was pretty attractive though. Real Life says if someone is aggressive with me, I knock them out, then make them talk about everything and have a drink with me.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to head out. Our friends from South Carolina are heading over here right now. They're about 5 minutes away.
Oh, wow.
So,
all right. Well, Jozz, I don't have any like parting wisdom for you. And I hope you'll.
I've heard enough from you in the past year, so
I hope you'll
that's fine.
Check in with us whenever you can, and we owe you. I mean, collectively as a country, we owe you all a debt of gratitude. Certainly as a channel, we owe you a lot of thanks for everything you've done for us, and obviously we'll continue to engage and whatnot. But I really wish you the best of luck. And if we don't talk before you leave, I guess I wish you the best of luck. And I know our whole chat does too. And if there's anything we can all help with, Bill says don't forget to have fun. I'm sure that's little bits and pieces of it. Brian says thank you again and good luck. Yeah, I'm sure we'll have more comments pouring in here. Keep your head down, bro, says Boo. Yeah, I mean you've heard plenty of advice from everybody, but
Yep, don't be a fly on the wall at basic. That's just what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Don't stick out. It'll make your life a lot easier. But yeah, I'll check in on the stream Monday night when I'm at the hotel, if you have one that night. So yeah, I'll see you guys all then. Thanks for everybody to asking questions and just contributing to the conversation. It's been fun.
All right. Well, Jozz, again, thanks for everything, and yeah, best of luck, and check in with us whenever you can. And if we can do anything to help, we will try our best.
Okay, will do. Thank you. Good night.
All right. Thanks, Jozz. All right, guys. So that was Jozz. Some of you guys have heard from him before, but he's obviously been a regular on our stream for a long time. And he reached out to me right before we came on today, reminding me that he was about to ship out, and it was great to sort of get a chance to catch up with him a little bit. I know he's kind of known he's going to ship off to basic training since we began this, and it's been sort of a countdown for the entire period we've been a channel, or at least not been a channel, but at least been doing these streams. So if anybody has any sort of individual messages for Jozz, I'm sure he checks the Discord quite a bit, so please feel free to reach out to him on there. I know the things he shared tonight, he'll probably share on the Discord as well. And there he is in our chat. Yeah, I mean, we've gotten to know a lot of people over the course of doing these streams. Certainly the folks who are with us who have either spent time in the U.S. military or, in Jozz's case, are going to. That's something we all need to take seriously. A debt of gratitude to their service. So, we will be sort of look forward to kind of following Jozz through basic. What are you asking that girl? Is jaw jazz? I don't know what that means. U.S. military's primary job is to protect American business interests around the world, not to protect us from an attack. Bill says those are the same thing. So yeah. Any other thoughts from people tonight? Yeah, I thought it was an interesting conversation. It's always interesting to talk to people at sort of interesting junctures of life. Let's see. MASH, the great TV show. Yeah. Yeah, what about, what am I thinking of? God, there's a lot of really good old military TV shows. We don't have as many of those anymore. Land really likes the word juncture. Do I? That's actually like not a word I would put like at the top of my list of favorite words, Boo. Do I use that one a lot? Gilligan's Island is not really a military show, but it is a good old TV show. Yeah, that's a really good one. David watched MASH with his pop. Yeah. At least over 9,000 times. Okay, I will try to catch myself if I use the word juncture in coming days to stop myself. But you guys can point it out too. My Mother the Car. Yeah, that's a really bad TV show. I've never seen it. I don't even like that is a bad TV show. Okay. If you had one superpower, what superpower would you have? To control the weather. That girl, I think, is a really I feel like most of the ways in which life makes my life difficult has a lot to do with the weather. I think controlling the weather would be a cool, unconventional superpower. MASH was filmed in Simi Valley. Okay. I've been to the Reagan Library in Simi Valley. It's a cool place. If you're ever out in LA, amid all the other attractions, that's a pretty cool thing to go visit. Of course, I always like presidential libraries generally. They get very low visitorship, but they're a lot of fun. Farm Girl says, our prayers are with you, and if you are ever in trouble, just look up child. Look up child. Look up child. All right, so we didn't really get into a whole lot of like newsy stuff tonight. There was stuff with there's sort of more drama in Texas around the Texas Democrats, who I guess at some point are going to have to come back to the state, and the deputy governor or somebody is threatening to arrest them. There's continued protest activity in South Africa. The Biden administration today called Cuba a failed state that represses their citizens. He says that communism is universally a failed system. It's actually pretty strong words from the Biden administration, considering some of the forces within his party right now. And I guess it's good that somebody said it. Let's see. The key function of the U.S. military is keeping the peace, says David. What about General Lee? Can the Texas reps just do their job via Zoom? I don't think that state reps are able to do their job just on Zoom. I don't know why they couldn't, but I don't think it's been set up that way. Yeah, Jeanette, I can put a link to that. I was surprised actually how forceful Joe Biden's words were today about Cuba. President Biden said Thursday he's considering establishing an internet source for the Cuban people after their government shut off access amid mass protests. Let's see. Biden also dismissed both communism and socialism in answer to a question. Quote, communism is a failed system, a universally failed system, and I don't see socialism as a very useful substitute, the president said. Cuba is unfortunately a failed state in repressing their citizens, he continued. There are a number of things that we are considering doing to help the people of Cuba, but they would require a guarantee that they would not be taken advantage of by the government. The Cuban government, meanwhile, ended the shutdown of the internet on Wednesday, allowing videos and images to surface that revealed suppressive efforts by police forces to quell the protests. I suspect they realized it was a really bad look to be repressing the internet and would rather take this hit than that one. Ron DeSantis said, we are seeing the island of Cuba people fighting against a communist dictatorship. We have to stand with the people of Cuba against the communist dictatorship, and one of the most effective things we can do as a country is getting internet back on the island, but we need the Biden administration to step up to make that happen. Anyway, those are some of the things going on in Cuba today. David says, I don't think the military is charged with protecting Americans from domestic threats. It's actually really interesting. We're one of the only military. I mean, there are a lot of militaries around the world that have shifted toward sort of separating out the kind of offensive Air Force from the defensive Air Force. That girl watched the Bill Nye and Ken Ham debate on between the Noah's Ark. It's pretty interesting and impressive how they built the Noah's Ark in Kentucky. Yeah, so that's one of the sets of footage we could potentially stream on a future day here. That girl is our Ark Encounter and Creation Museum footage from down in Kentucky. Those are not too far from us. They're very close to the Cincinnati area, and they're quite interesting. Certainly the Ark as a piece of construction is really, really fascinating. The Ark is obviously Ken Ham's project to try to showcase kind of a literal representation of the biblical Noah's Ark, and all the animals that were on it and everything. And it's a hell of a tourist attraction, I'll tell you that. The Ark is on the Discord. Yeah, but we can certainly kind of put that in the background of a stream, perhaps on a future day. Hunter Perdito's blaming the U.S. sanctions for why Cuba's a mess. More refugees on the way from Afghanistan. It's interesting. It sounds like, so I was just reading about today about how the Taliban is already plotting after the U.S. withdrawals to like set up a kind of a refuge in Afghanistan for Uyghurs from China. It's really interesting how some of these international issues are starting to intersect. Boise is pretty liberal. Like the city of Boise. I'm pretty sure I have voting information on the city of Boise. It's not particularly liberal. Yeah, let's figure out who's the winner tonight, Quiet. Who is our winner? The winner is... Oh, the winner's just... Once again, our mods. Our mods picking the mods as the winner. Well, we certainly appreciate what our mods, Jeanette and Quiet Castle, and Moniker and Bequeathius, do for us on a day-in, day-out basis. Let's see if we can figure. Okay, the winner is that girl. So that's a deserving victory for that girl. That girl, I really appreciate the questions for us on kind of a night in, night out basis. They definitely give some levity to us, and I appreciate that. Back in the kind of old days of our stream, Nicholas Bishop used to always give us these really kind of crazy would you rather questions, and we don't get those so much anymore. So if anybody has like random off-the-wall questions to throw at us sort of periodically throughout our streams, I always appreciate those kinds of things because they do sort of lighten up our streams. Yes, Jeanette is definitely a winner, but as far as the winner today, we'll give it to that girl. Let's see. Yeah, so you win. The victory wins you 2 cents. That is the prize for winning every day. And if you win 2 cents, the house here will take a cent of it. And if you want your cent, you'll have to mail me a 55-cent stamp, and then we will mail you in return. Well, you have to mail me. Yeah, you have to pay the postage and then mail me a 55-cent stamp, so then I can mail you your 1 cent. Pickle or a plum? Plums, if they're like ripe and fresh, are pretty good. I do like a pickle. Pickles can be pretty good too. I think you just eat like a dill pickle or a gherkin. It's pretty good. Depends on the mood. I would say generally I'd probably go with plum though. Mark Russell, extreme authoritarianism or extreme anarchy? I'd have to think about that one, Parker. I'm not sure I want to give an answer just off the top of my head to that. Probably extreme authoritarianism, actually. Someday there will be no USA. That's true. Roadkill doesn't want any cheese, just wants out of the trap. I suppose if you're a mouse. How do I get to be one of the authorities, says Bill? In what like if you're part of an authoritarian, I mean, I think even being a part of, like, even if your government is authoritarian, the mere fact that they're preventing you from, like, having to go out in every interaction of your life, literally, like, fight for your life, like, that's the part that really sucks about anarchy, is having to go out all the time, basically like an animal in the wild, and worry about the food chain, and whether you're going to get gunned down or shot or robbed. Like, I want to be able to walk out the front door and, you know, not have to worry about dying and not have to carry, like, heavy weaponry and not have to be looking over my shoulder all the time. And, you know, I don't really know what, like, extreme authoritarianism would amount to. But I guess I would rather live in something that is, like, trying to control my life in that way from, you know, just sort of totally always having to be fighting for my life. And certainly if you are one of the authoritarians, I suppose that's... let's see, would you rather be a full frontal lobotomy or a full bottle in front of me? I'm not sure I understand that question, David. "2020, we will all die of climate change," says Roadkill. Maybe we all did die. I don't know. We can talk 1980s music on a future stream flex. We've done some 1980s kind of. I mean, I like 80s music a lot. not a huge fan of heavy metal. Do you think time travel will be possible in the future? No, I don't think we're going to get to time travel. We'd have to have so much technological advance before we get into that. I mean, Boo, I've got musical tastes that kind of span almost everything. Like trying to pin me down on music is usually not a very productive activity, because I've got a little bit of everything in my, music, if not preferences, at least tolerances. But I'll do a little bit of metal, but probably not a ton. Time travel will never be possible, says Bill. At least not backwards in time. Yeah, I think we'll invent a lot of other things before then. We'll probably blow ourselves up as a planet first, before we get around to time travel. You can travel, but time not standing still for anyone. Time travel forward does happen all the time. Just depends what speed. Okay, Venezuela's coming up here in the chat too. I was talking to somebody who lives in Venezuela a while back. I actually got to know them quite well as a friend, and I was like, man, they had this. Nothing makes you become right wing faster than living under the Venezuelan government. Fish and Tab, no. I don't know, who's like the best 1980s group? Let's see, top 80s bands. Best 80s bands and musicians, according to Ranker. Number 1 is Journey. 2 is Def Leppard. 3 is AC/DC. 4 is Van Halen. So I can go for some cheesy Journey sometimes. Van Halen's a really good band. Then 5 is Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi's pretty damn good. 6, George Michael. 7, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Yeah, Tom Petty's great. 8, Foreigner. 9, Pink Floyd. I don't get Pink Floyd. 10, The Cars. 11, the Eagles. Eagles are pretty good, but they're not really 80s. 12, Fleetwood Mac. 13, Queen. I am not a Queen person. 14, Genesis. 15, Elton John. 16, Billy Idol. 17, Cyndi Lauper. 18, Heart. 19, Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams is pretty good. Cyndi Lauper's pretty good. Actually, so is Heart. Heart's pretty good too. And then Pat Benatar. Then Aerosmith. Yeah, some of these aren't totally 80s bands. David disagrees with any of those top 5 for the top 5. Well, they aren't my picks, but they are the public's picks. They're on Ranker. Queen is pretty good, says Bill. Tom Petty is great. Yeah, Tom Petty is great. Brian came home from work tonight to find my son rolling over on his own. Got a happy baby tonight. Brian, that's nothing. I can do that too. I can even still do like a somersault. The one thing I could never do when I was doing gymnastics back in the day was like a full handspring. I was never that great at that. Heart is a guilty pleasure of booze. Yeah, it's easy to get kind of slide into that world. AC/DC, lots of energy. Not only can I roll over on my own, but I can walk too, which I don't know. I feel like I can do a lot of things that babies can do, I think. But they have the advantage of youth. What I'm not that much of a James Bond person, that girl. Like, if I had to pick a movie to be in, it'd be a fun movie to be in is Animal House. Like, that'd be a good time. David's Toddler said watermelon for the first time tonight. I don't know. I don't know about James Bond. Let's say not liking James Bond is a different thing from not knowing about James Bond. To know James Bond is to like him. Okay. Boston was fresh for one album. Yeah, Boston's got good. That's a good band too. Not like top of the line, but good. You develop playlists with a lot of these bands. I develop these like random playlists that have, this sort of like heavy '80s stuff, and then I'll throw in like random country stuff, and then I'll have like, Buddy Holly, and then I'll have like, Shania Twain, and Katy Perry, and then like Nirvana, and I kind of like, I'll just put anything together. All right, guys, it's getting a little bit late. I do appreciate you guys all hanging out with us tonight. So we had Jozz on as our guest tonight on sort of short notice, but definitely glad to catch him before he heads out to basic training in a couple days. So hopefully we'll kind of continue to be in contact with him. We need to figure out our next guest here for the stream. Hi, Andrew Murray. Yeah, we need to figure out our next guest. I know a few people have reached out to me about potentially being guests on our stream, but definitely would love to line somebody up. And you guys know who you are, those of you who have reached out to me. So yeah, definitely we'll look for somebody for next week. We had some interesting conversations earlier in the week. I guess we didn't get to a whole lot of the news today, but we did talk about a little bit about 80s music here at the end. I guess with Jozz, we talked about military planes and basic training and I guess COVID vaccine reactions and things like that. So a lot of interesting stuff. Boo's up for another Boo situation. Yeah, we could definitely do another Boo situation. We've got a couple people who reached out to me about repeats too, which is certainly doable. I suffer from low blood pressure. Listening to Land's attitudes always raise it, though. Thank you, Land. All right. Yeah, thanks, Real Life. Yeah, guys, I appreciate if you haven't given us a like or a subscribe on the stream. I always appreciate that. So if you could please drop a like before you leave, definitely appreciate that. Roadkill says no Jack tonight. Jack did reach out to me tonight, Roadkill, so I think he's around. We could, yeah, if Hunter Perdito, if you want to be a guest, we'd love to have you on. So please feel free to reach out to me. Landspeculation@gmail.com is the email address. And please feel free to reach out to me via direct message on the Discord as well. Either one is a good enough way to get in touch with me. In the interim, though, the likes and the subscribes are much appreciated. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please get subscribed to the channel. We're on pretty much every night, at least during the week. We've started taking weekends off a bit here during the summer. We'll try to get down to see the Ducks sometime soon, and maybe do something light-hearted tomorrow night if we're on. Maybe get Mrs. Land back on the streams. It's been a few weeks since we've done a regular Mrs. Land Friday, so that might be our target for tomorrow, unless there's breaking news. Check the description, as always, for links to our Ducks Discord, which is our 24/7 chat platform. We always appreciate the engagement there. And the Duck Fund is our PayPal link if people want to help support the stream. I always appreciate the contributions there very much. Appreciate all the interesting questions here late, definitely. This gives me something to sort of mull and think about and talk about. So, any other thoughts here for tonight? Land, did you love the way the Astros told MLB no thanks to the All-Star game. I thought that was... So I was looking over the All-Star game lineups this year, Roadkill with Mrs. Land, and I think I was sort of remarking to her that, boy, it seems like they're awfully weak All-Star teams. And I was thinking, boy, does baseball just have fewer stars now than it used to? Like, there are a lot of guys I kind of barely heard of. And I was trying to sort of compare and contrast mentally to, like, the All-Star games I remember from back in the day where you'd have, like, you know, Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds and, like, all these great players, you know, Ken Griffey Jr. and Sammy Sosa, like, all in the lineup together. And then I was looking at all the players that decided not to play this year. You know, Jacob deGrom, just like he wasn't even hurt. He just decided he wasn't going to play in the All-Star game just because. And it seems like we've entered sort of the era of ultimate selfishness among baseball players. You know, I've been sort of despondent about how little baseball players seem to care about the fans anymore, generally. But it seems like an awful lot of them opted out of the All-Star game this year, which to me is just like, that's horrifying. Ernie Banks would be rolling over in his grave. So, yeah, and all four of the Astros, it's like two of the Astros were injured, and then the other two didn't play. Yeah, it was a really bad look for them to not send anybody. I assume they didn't want to go, you know, in part because they didn't get booed by the entire crowd. Let's see. Twitch raises Pat Riley's blood pressure. We could debate capitalism versus socialism. We certainly could do that. Let's see. All right. Yeah, guys. Well, anyway, I really appreciate the engagement tonight. I appreciate the likes and the subscribes. Check the description for the other links. If you guys want to send a note to Jozz before he heads out, obviously he's accessible on the Discord. He had to cut out a little bit early tonight. But otherwise, I really appreciate the conversation tonight. I'll leave the video up for a little bit if you guys want to stay on and chat anymore. If anybody does want to be our guest on a future week, please feel free to reach out to me, landspeculation@gmail.com. Check in with us on the Discord. We'll probably be on back tomorrow night for some lighter stuff. And yeah, for now, guys, I really appreciate it and appreciate our mods and everybody else hanging out with us. So for now, I hope you guys all have a good night.
that him went by? And they had 5 secrets on each side. No, that was the argument. I think that was, yeah, you got 5 secrets on each side. Might be wrong, it might have been the version. They're not old enough to have speed limits. They might have waited for everyone to unload their eggs.
saying that once, like, that's like, there was a Supreme Court case that took it down because there was like a naturalized U.S. citizen who was also an Israeli citizen. If I ever, well, you know what, I just like was putting the day when I had to go through a background. Yeah, I would be opposed to
It's not really a federal. So I didn't break any state laws, but I did break Jeff Sessions'
Here you go. I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my you know we wanna be a thunder mountain. Oh, we wanna make it move. Oh, we wanna be a thunder mountain. Sometimes we're gonna have to lose. It ain't about our first side. It ain't about what's waiting on the other side.
How's that? How do you feel?
You
You feel good?
Right. All semi-automatic means now you can
Don't feed the trolls. It's not a real news organization.
So the gunfire has a kickback, right? And it pushes your finger forward and the trigger. So it goes ba 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 ba, which is so it's automatic, but it's actually not the same. I'll tell you why. AR-15 should not be used in the same capacity as an automatic rifle. The metal surrounding the barrel will overheat. It's not designed to have long, continuous rapid fire like that. A lot of people have to stop.
Unable to kill you. Fun fact.
No simple solution. But like no simple solution. Let me ask you this. What do you think if he's having arms and carries?
At a lot of schools.
For me, that's kind of like, I don't necessarily know. I think having arms and carries like
Half my team is unstable or they just would not know how to ride. So I mean, obviously that's but like the duck.
I served in the U.S. Army, served in the Air Force, Marine Corps. I was a 31 Bravo military police officer. Security forces, 82nd Avenue, Red SEAL Team 1. I was stationed at Camp Malone, Iraq. In Afghanistan. Vietnam. My service weapon was an M4 assault rifle. My service weapon was an M16. It's basically the same. You know what?
Hudson, picked up from Toronto. Washington is third franchise he's been with this season. He helps sell it. rushing the field, right? Hey, we rushing the field, right?
Martinez, the field manager. Here they are, one strike away, one out away. 3-2.
Baseball came back in 2005, the celebrations on as the championship is headed back to our nation's capital, secured here in Houston by this never say die nationals team. It's hard for me to think of a team that had overcome as much as they did 19 and 31. That Jermaine through some health scares and a day yesterday where we could see him as relieved of the team that this truly was a team that's captured that city.
Nice job here, Max. You're 3 times that winner and a World Series champion. After all the work you've put together the last few days, what does this mean to you?
It just means I'm part of the greatest team in 2019. These guys, they battled, didn't matter. It was sanctified, that was our motto. There's the next guy up. Whoever, everyone give their all. Whoever was always going to produce, we took it all away and we run the whole thing.
You went 5 innings, you had base runners every inning. How did you get through it just allowing 2 runs?
Just stay tough. They're a great team, great offense. They're by me. Just try and make pitches. Stay with your gun. Trust your instincts and just compete. Lay it on line. Just whatever you gotta do. I mean, Greg did a heck of a job tonight of working quick and I was just gassed, but hey, you gotta give it whatever we got.
How did you feel physically? Was it a risk to pitch?
No, I was physically good. The cortisone shot worked, the cardiac adjustments worked, so I felt good.
What is it about this team, Max? What makes it so special?
1 through 25, everybody. That's the only way I can describe it. The energy, the camaraderie, the belief in one another, it doesn't matter. Everyone just believes in each other.
Congratulations, guys. Enjoy.
Throw it back to you.
Thanks, Kenny. So a guy that couldn't get dressed on Sunday morning, the day of Game 5, gets that cortisone shot, gets ready for Game 17. 18 o'clock strike.
Still there? Oh, God.
Oh my God. We did it. We did it. We finished the fight. Yes.
I hope it's still running again. Too long.
So we are at the Georgetown University Hotel here in Washington, D.C. The on-campus hotel. A little bit hard to find on the outside, kind of buried in the middle of campus, but quite a nice hotel, quite a nice complex. Nice university, actually. I'm not going out in the hall because I fear that if I do, the cleaning people will eat me alive. They have been relentless this morning, trying to get into the rooms. The hotel is kind of buried in amongst numerous other academic buildings. It's close to the football field, it's close to the business school, it's the Athletic Hall of Fame is kind of adjacent to the lobby, the whole conference center, the student union directly connected. So it's an interesting complex. It's directly connected to a lot of those things. You don't even have to go outside. And it's quite a nice place. It's it's frenetic the way you would expect a university hotel to be, but it's quite nice. Very convenient to stop on campus. Front hall here, this kind of wood flooring is very pleasant. So I'm giving you a treat today. I'm showing you the room after I've been in it for a couple days. So it's not quite as pristine as many of my hotel room tours. Shortly after you come in, you get a nice, almost full-length mirror, and I like that they give you a little bit of space where you can actually see what you look like in the full-length mirror. As you know, that's one of my pet peeves about hotels. The trash can under the desk. I haven't actually sat at the desk. Desk chair is actually not that comfortable. The lamp, you get, I guess all the lamps, they're more or less match with each other, I guess. The lamps do have a plug, one plug, I guess, in each of them, which is not really enough for all of my devices, but not too terrible. A nice $5 water bottle there. You get your Washingtonian magazines, your Georgetown Memories, Faculty Club restaurant. There is a nice restaurant adjacent, Georgetown Memories. Oh, those are, you want to buy the pillows, I guess. You have tissues, the remote, I guess the channel guide I did something with, but TV's a little bit off center from the bed, but it's okay. It's a reasonably decent number of channels. Not great. I haven't even looked through the guest directory here. Dining services, faculty club, restaurant, breakfast, dinner. Yeah, it looks like pretty standard stuff there. It's a pretty hospitable hotel for the on-campus hotel. You do get one of these kind of weird closet things, where it's not really a closet, it's like a cabinet that sort of functions like a closet. Not a lot of space to hang things. You have the safe here in the way. You do have ironing board and iron. I haven't used those. They don't give you a regular laundry bag. They give you this big kind of burlap thing that I was afraid to take for my own use. A little disappointing. Good hangers, not a ton of them. They give you a luggage rack that I didn't use. The view here is not spectacular. There may be some rooms where you get a better view, looking kind of up the hill, I guess. Now, there are some rooms as I understand it, where, as you can see, I'm kind of outside of this path here. I don't think this path is actually accessible to anyone, but there are folks for whom their room actually does look sort of out onto, or just ever so slightly up onto, a path that people actually use, which I imagine is probably a little bit of a surprise for that first morning, if you have the shades drawn the way I have them, with just the kind of lacy version and not the full blackout shades. I like to wake up to the light of the morning. But I was talking to someone who had a room where they were looking directly up at people walking by them, and I guess those people, if they wanted to, could potentially watch you sleep. That's not so much ideal. Another lamp over here. I don't have all the lamps on. Usually when I do this, I turn all the lights on. Little chair, ottoman, stool. That's kind of nice. I haven't sat in the chair. I'd assume it's reasonably comfortable. Looks reasonably new. Another lamp over here. They should give you a lot of papers. You get your breakfast room service menu. You have your standard "we're going green" bullshit card about how they're not going to do your laundry for you. They're not actually going to maintain the room for you. Yeah, channel guide, as I said, and the privacy sign. Just the one phone in the room. Bed, very comfortable, no complaints there. You have your own climate control over there, kind of inconvenient for the climate control thing, but headboard, good. Bed seems nice, it's clean. Clock there, accurate time. The lamps all seem to work. Some of them are a little bit, you have to press the thing a few times to get it to turn on. I'm not sure how the 3-way or 4-way or 5-way bulbs are working. The Bible, I guess it's appropriate. Georgetown is, I guess, a Catholic school. But all the furniture is new. The carpets are nice. As I said, the flooring in the front hall seem pretty nice. Again, a little short on plugs. The art in the room is photography of Georgetown. I think that's the only piece of art in the room. So, generally a nice main room. A couple of light switches. I'm not sure which lights those turn on and off. I guess the front hall light, which is very dim, and I don't know what the other one turns on. Then you get this little vestibule by the front door, kind of standard hotel setup. You walk in, room's ahead of you, the bathroom is to the left. Kind of an odd placement for the coffee maker here across from the bathroom. I didn't use it at all while I was here, but it's one of these little single cup coffee makers. They give you, boy, one regular, one decaf. That is not enough if you have multiple people in the room. Ice bucket. Is that clean? Yeah, the ice bucket doesn't look too clean. Not really that clean. Got a trash can there. A lot of the dirt and water and everything, that's mine. That's my doing, that's not their doing. The sink, so it's this kind of weird square sink. Plenty of space for to put your toothbrush and whatnot, so that all works. I have heard some rooms don't have very good hot water. My room had perfectly fine hot water, so
I can't speak to that personally. Very circular mirror, very much consistent with the Georgetown brand. This is kind of the same circular, sort of ovular shape as the Georgetown seal. These kind of lights here above the sink. The toilet room itself with the shower is, it's not huge, but it's fine. The toilet seems fine. And they give you 4 main towels and quite a few hand towels, in addition to a couple out here. So I've done a lot of complaints about the towels. Seems to be adequate. Shower, as I said, seemed fine. Doesn't seem entirely new, but my hot water was fine. The thing is very easy to operate. It's a nice, powerful shower head with not really a rain shower head, but definitely a good stream. They must have had some issues here with people hitting their head on the soap dish. It is a little bit awkwardly positioned, so they have a caution sign up there, kind of carelessly taped, not parallel with the tiles. One of these Boeing shower curtain things. A little bit of mold or something there on the light, so that's not great. But generally, I think they do a nice job maintaining the showers. The wallpaper in here, I'm not sure why they do wallpaper in the shower room. That seems to be a recipe for disaster, but I guess that's what they decided to do. A little bit of imperfection there, not too bad. So we'll go back in, test a little bit for dust. No dust up there on top of the mirror. Let's see on top of this picture here. No, on top of the headboard. No dust there. So that's so generally, I think they do a nice job maintaining it. Main complaints are very, very minor. Probably overzealous. The cleaning staff is the main one. Generally, though, it's a really nice hotel. I'm very, very happy about it. I know some others are maybe don't share that opinion, but I think it's actually quite nice. So I guess take a quick peek in the hall, perhaps. I heard somebody out there, so I didn't actually go out. But anyway, so that's the Georgetown University Hotel.
worship of false prophets.
Jesus says, what does it profit to gain the world and lose your soul? Our life is fragile. Our time is short. You must wake up. You must humble your heart towards slave. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and life. No man comes to God except through me. Your life is unreal.
Not on men's side. Not by no politics either.
Keys, coins, cell phones, cameras.
Yeah, but you can't go to galleys.
No more than 3 blocks. Probably going to get 15 to 40 right now.
I got keys. What about umbrellas?
It's passing the Canadian embassy right now.
This type of water bottle is okay, the thin plastic. This type of hard plastic is not good. Also metal and glass and ceramic containers. Why would the raviolis be no good? Metal container. Someone thought the sardines were good, but they weren't allowed because they're in the metal container. So,
Can we take umbrellas?
umbrellas less than 12 inches, yes. So, that looks less than 12 inches. There's a joke there. So, anyway, you're going through a TSA checkpoint, so you will want to take anything to set off the metal detectors. It's an old-style TSA checkpoint because you can keep your shoes on, your clothes, and most of your belts on. If you're
What about this poncho here?
Poncho should be fine. Single file, once you get off the grade, for 3 reasons, deters from yelling at me, allows security to get in and out, and prevents people from heading on the side. Then you two can decide who gets it. Rock, paper, scissors, there's no spot. You'll want to turn your cell phone to the middle of the phone on and get out there so they can verify their actual valid electronics.
Mine's about to die. You want to look right quick?
You have to. They're the ones. It's a TSA checkpoint. I'm just a lonely volunteer.
Thank you for your help.
I appreciate you volunteering.
Thank you.
I don't appreciate it. That's a bunch of tradition, a bunch of bullshit. He's on our block. I'm not taking it out on you, of course. But you're doing it.
Firefighters Pipes and Drums are the first volunteer firefighters bagpipe band in the United States. Organized in 1985, they performed a monument groundbreaking ceremony attended by President George W. Bush in Eisenhower Park, East Meadow, New York, in 2004. They have also performed on 3 occasions for halftime ceremonies for the New York Jets honoring first responders. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nassau County Firefighters Pipes and Drums in East Meadow, New York.
Veterans representing the Wounded Project are marching in the parade today. The mission of Wounded Warrior Project is to honor and empower wounded warriors. Wounded Warrior Project connects wounded warriors and their families to God. Is our new president, Donald J. Trump.
They might have waited for everyone to unload their eggs.
I would be opposed.
I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my head. You know we wanna be a thunder mountain. Oh, we wanna make it move. Oh, we wanna be a thunder better. Sometimes we're gonna have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there. It ain't about what's waiting on the other side.
I'm not sure how much you can say
Don't
the trolls. Yeah. It's not a real news organization.
So the gunfire has a feedback, right? And it pushes your finger forward and the trigger. So it goes blah, 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 which is similar to an automatic, but it is actually not the same. I'll tell you why. Air screens cannot be used in the same capacity as an automatic rifle. The metal surrounding the barrel will overheat. It is not designed to have long, continuous, rapid fire like that. A lot of people have stuff.
It's unable to kill you. Fun fact.
No simple solution. But like no simple solution. Well, yeah, so what do you think if he's not armed and
At a lot of schools.
For me, that's kind of like, I don't necessarily know. I think having arms security like
half my teachers are unstable or they just would not know how to so I mean obviously that's but like for Jozz.
I served in the U.S. Army, served in the Air Force, Marine Corps. I was a 31 Bravo military police officer. Security forces, 82nd Avenue, right SEAL Team 1. On station, Camp Mahama, Iraq. In Afghanistan, Vietnam. My service weapon was an M4 assault rifle. My service weapon was an M16. It's basically the same. You know what?
Hudson, picked up from Toronto. Washington is third franchise he's been with this season. He helps sell it.
How is Altuve up again?
2 months to go, down by 4 and 9 wins of the Nationals. This Brazilian team that just refused to quit.
1969 in Montreal. This World Series is the first championship in franchise history. Inside and for count.
We're rushing the field, right?
Martinez, the field manager. Here they are, one strike away, one out away. 3-2. Baseball came back in 2005, the celebration is on. As the championship is headed back to our nation's capital, secured here in Houston by this Never Say Die Nationals team. It's hard for me to think of a team that had overcome as much as they did 19 and 31. Manager goes through some health scares and a day yesterday where you could see him in the dugout as relieved of the team that this truly was a team that's kept captured that city.
Nice job, remember Max. Max, you're 3 times LA Handle World Series champion. After all your work for Pittsburgh the last 2 days, what does this mean to you?
It just means I'm part of the greatest team in 2019. These guys, they battled, didn't matter. It was safe to fight, that was our motto. It was the next guy up. Everyone gave their all. Whoever was always going to produce. And we took it all in, we won the whole thing.
You went 5 innings, you had base runners every inning. How did you get through it? Just allow me to
Just stay tough. They're a great team, great offense. They're by me. Just try to make pitches, stay with gun. Trust your instincts, and just compete. Lay it on line. Just whatever you gotta do. I was Greg did a heck of a job tonight of working quick, and I was just gassed. But hey, you gotta give it whatever you got.
How did you feel physically? Was it a risk to pitch?
No, I was physically good. The cortisone shot worked, the contract adjustments worked, so I felt good.
What is it about this team, Max? What makes it so special?
1 through 25, everybody. That's the only way I can describe it. The energy, the camaraderie, the belief in one another, it doesn't matter. Everyone just believes in each other.
Congratulations, Max. Enjoy. Joe, back to you.
Thanks, Kenny. So a guy that couldn't get dressed on Sunday morning, the day of Game 5, gets that cortisone shot, gets ready for Game 7 tonight. Even Fox 1.
Still there? Oh God.
Oh my God. We did it. We did it. We finished the fight. We finished the fight.
Yes, and in what an epic I hope it's still running again.
Next stop.
So we are at the Georgetown University Hotel here in Washington, D.C. The on-campus hotel. A little bit hard to find on the outside, kind of buried in the middle of campus, but quite a nice hotel, quite a nice complex. Nice university, actually. I'm not going out in the hall because I fear that if I do, the cleaning people will eat me alive. They have been relentless this morning, trying to get into the rooms. The hotel is kind of buried in amongst numerous other academic buildings. It's close to the football field, it's close to the business school, it's the Athletic Hall of Fame is kind of adjacent to the lobby, the whole conference center, the student union directly connected. So it's an interesting complex. It's directly connected to a lot of those things. You don't even have to go outside. And it's quite a nice place. It's it's frenetic the way you would expect a university hotel to be, but it's quite nice. Very convenient to stop on campus. Front hall here is kind of wood flooring. It's very pleasant. So I'm giving you a treat today. I'm showing you the room after I've been in it for a couple days. So it's not quite as pristine as many of my hotel room tours. Shortly after you come in, you get a nice, almost full-length mirror, and I like that they give you a little bit of space where you can actually see what you look like in the full-length mirror. As you know, that's one of my pet peeves about hotels. The trash can under the desk. I haven't actually sat at the desk. Desk chair is actually not that comfortable. The lamp, you get, I guess all the lamps, they're more or less match with each other, I guess. The lamps do have a plug, one plug, I guess, in each of them, which is not really enough for all of my devices, but not too terrible. A nice $5 water bottle there. You get your Washingtonian magazines, your Georgetown Memories, Faculty Club restaurant. There is a nice restaurant adjacent, Georgetown Memories.